where the jasmine blooms. The train to Udaipur screeched into the station at dawn, its iron wheels crying like old ghosts. Anaya stepped down with a suitcase in one hand and a faded photograph in the other. The picture was curled at the edges, worn soft by time. In it, two children smiled at the camera, jasmine flowers tucked behind their ears. One of them was Anaya. The other, Veer. It had been 13 years. Anaya hadn't planned on returning. Life in Delhi was loud and demanding, her days measured by spreadsheets and client calls. But her aunt's passing had forced her hand. She had inherited the old Haveli tucked in the narrow lanes of the city's oldest quarter, an architectural echo of forgotten stories. A part of her wanted to sell it, take the money and run back to her curated life. But the jasmine tree in the courtyard had other plans. The moment she stepped into the Haveli, the scent hit her, sweet, nostalgic, and almost defiant. The jasmine tree was still there, still blooming, its roots burrowed deep into the soil like secrets too stubborn to die. The walls were cracked, the floors dusty, but the tree was alive. And so were the memories. It was under that tree that she and Veer had spent countless childhood evenings, playing Antakshari, inventing stories, or daring each other to climb its lowest branches. He had been her first friend, her first protector, her first crush. But then his family left the city overnight. No forwarding address. No goodbyes. Just a silence that lingered longer than it should have. For the first few days, Anaya roamed the Haveli like a stranger in a museum of her own life. She found her old sketchbooks, marbles tucked behind the wall clock, a broken recorder in the drawer. The city outside had changed, but inside the Haveli, time had simply fallen asleep. Then one morning, a note arrived. No envelope. Just a sheet of paper slipped under the door. In slanted handwriting, it read, "Some things don't forget. Like Jasmine and childhood promises. V." Her breath caught. Was it possible? She wandered through the city trying to chase shadows. Asking vendors, visiting the old school, retracing paths they once ran barefoot. No one had seen him. She began to wonder if it was a prank, some cruel game of the wind. And then she found the second note. This time, attached to a fresh jasmine garland hanging on the courtyard gate. The tree still blooms. Like you said it would. Her hands trembled. Her heart, too. On the third evening, there was a knock. A soft, hesitant knock, like memory itself was asking for permission. When she opened the door, she saw him. Veer. Older. Taller. With a beard now and stories etched in the lines of his face. But his eyes, those stormy monsoon eyes, hadn't changed. Neither had the silence between them. They didn't speak at first. Just stood there as if afraid that words might ruin what time had preserved. Finally, he broke the silence. You said jasmine trees never forget the ones who laugh beneath them. I was 10, she replied, but her voice cracked. You were right. He stepped inside, and just like that, the years folded in on themselves. They sat beneath the jasmine tree like they had done so long ago. He told her everything, how his father's job took them to Chennai, how he tried writing to her but his letters were returned, how life moved on but something always pulled him back here. I came every year, he confessed. To check on the tree. And to see if you had come back. Anaya didn't know what to say. So she offered him chai. In the days that followed, he returned again and again. Sometimes with food, sometimes with old stories, sometimes with silence. And she let him. They painted walls together, repaired old lanterns, and cooked forgotten recipes from her aunt's dusty cookbooks. One evening, he found her sketching again. She had drawn the jasmine tree, and beneath it, 2 children with matching flowers behind their ears. "I never forgot," she whispered. "Neither did I," he replied, "even when I tried." But love, Anaya had learned, isn't just about remembering. It's about choosing, again and again. One morning, she woke up to the sound of music. A soft melody floated from the courtyard. Veer was there, holding a small speaker, a single jasmine flower tucked behind his ear like old times. "Dance with me," he said. "There's no music," she laughed. "There's always music," he grinned. "You just forgot how to hear it." She stepped into his arms, barefoot on the cool tiles, the jasmine petals falling around them like blessings. They danced like children. Like lovers. Like 2 people who had waited long enough. When the moon rose that night, the jasmine tree witnessed something new, a promise not made in words but in presence, in laughter, in shared silences that needed no explanation. Anaya didn't sell the Haveli. She restored it. Together. It became their home, their sanctuary, a space where art and memory lived side by side. And every evening, they sat under the jasmine tree with cups of tea, watching the stars peek through the old jolly windows. Udaipur whispered stories through its wind, but the one it carried the loudest was theirs. A story of 2 hearts that bloomed again where the jasmine never stopped. If this story touched your soul, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Whispers of Love. 2 hearts. Sparkles comment below, have you ever found your way back to someone or something you thought you lost forever? Let's share our stories beneath the jasmine tree. Herb Sparkles.